The Silk Road refers to a set of ancient trade routes that stretched across the continent of Asia and played an important role in the development of many of the world's great civilizations. Much of this terrain is mountainous and rugged and impossible to pass with large amounts of goods by human strength alone. There are several animals that played an important role in the development of these trade routes, not least of which is the camel, whose unique adaptations make them the perfect companion for the long, arduous trek between the east and the west. In addition to their strength and stamina, camels are known for their docile nature, all of which are highly desirable traits for pack animals. It is for this reason that the great South American civilizations also used camelids in the development of their societies, long before the arrival of the horse. Although both the Silk Road and Machu Picchu saw their declines many centuries ago, the 4 domestic species of camelid are still widely used across the world today, and several recent studies have provided insight as to how these species relate to those found in the wild. Our journey into the world of camelids begins in Asia, where the largest of all 7 species can be found. The range of the Bactrian camel stretches across much of the continent, being found in the temperate grasslands and deserts that sit beneath the boreal forest to the north. It is not only the largest camelid, but one of the largest animals in Asia, weighing as much as 2,200 pounds. In addition to being sweltering hot during the summer, the desert in this part of the world is brutally cold in the winter months, with average temperatures in the Gobi reaching -40 in January. This species is also found in mountainous terrain, where it is subject to similarly cold conditions. It is for this reason that the Bactrian camel exhibits a beautifully thick coat in the winter, which thins out during the summer months. The most obvious difference that sets them apart from dromedary camels is the presence of 2 humps instead of 1. The primary function of these humps is to store fat, which can be converted into energy when food is scarce. Additionally, camels rarely sweat, reducing the need for constant access to water, allowing them to better traverse the desert environments they inhabit. When they do drink, however, these animals can consume over 30 gallons or 100 litres in a single session. Other desert adaptations include a double row of eyelashes and nostrils that close completely to better cope with their sandy habitat. Camels are members of the order Artiodactyla, otherwise known as even-toed ungulates. Unlike many other members of this order, however, camels do not exhibit hooves, but instead possess wide foot pads with 2 toes, providing enough surface area to walk efficiently in both the sand and the snow. There are estimated to be close to 2 million Bactrian camels, the vast majority of which are categorized as domestic, with those that roam freely being referred to as feral rather than wild. There does exist, however, a small population of truly wild camels, found only in the deserts of western China and southern Mongolia. While visually very similar, the wild Bactrian camel is smaller than its domestic counterpart, and is also said to have a particularly high tolerance to salt water, which the domestic species does not have. According to the Zoological Society of London, making the distinction between the 2 species is particularly important for conservation efforts, and although the Wild Camel Protection Foundation was founded in 1997 to preserve and study these animals, it wasn't until over a decade later that the wild camel was officially recognised as genetically distinct and designated as a separate species. With a conservation status of critically endangered, its total population was estimated to number no more than 950 mature individuals when it was assessed in 2008. It is believed that domestic Bactrian camels were used for the easternmost parts of the Silk Road, but as these trade routes stretched into ancient Persia, their single-humped Arabian cousins would most likely have been used for these sections. Although the dromedary or Arabian camel is generally lighter than the Bactrian camel, it is taller with a longer, more slender frame. This species is even better suited to arid environments and exhibits tough, thick lips, allowing it to harvest the thorny plants of the desert. The single hump of the dromedary camel can store up to 80 pounds of fat, enabling long-distance travel without the need for food or water. Arabian camels are surprisingly fast, clocking speeds of up to 40 miles per hour, and are often used in similar fashion to horses for racing. The name dromedary is derived from an ancient Greek word meaning to run or running. Reproductive characteristics are similar for all camel species, with the only major difference being the breeding season. Bactrian camels breed in March and April, whereas Arabian camels do so during the winter or the rainy season depending on location. All camel species breed on a bi-yearly cycle, with a single offspring most usually born after a gestation period of between 12 to 14 months. Weaning is complete after 1 to 2 years, and females will reach sexual maturity before males at around 3 years of age. The lifespan of a dromedary camel can be as much as 50 years, and they are highly valued in the countries where they are present. In addition to the Middle East and North Africa, dromedary camels were introduced to Australia in the 1840s. There are now over 1 million camels in Australia, and in similar fashion to the Brumby horses we explored in another video, these animals have a serious impact on the ecosystems in which they abide, and are regarded by many as pests. To continue our journey into the world of camelids, we need to travel to the other side of the Pacific, to the west coast of South America. At no more than 130 pounds, the Vicuña is the smallest camelid species, but what it lacks in size, it more than makes up for in its endearing qualities and spectacular environmental preferences. This species is found along the west coast of Central South America, high up in the Andes mountain range, at elevations between 10 to 18,000 feet. Their claim to fame is the world's most expensive fibre, edging out merino, cashmere and other famous wools for the most valuable fibre topspot. Thanks to their tiny size, the yield from a single Vicuña is small and only harvested once every 2 years, leading to a price of $300 to $500 per kilo. This species was hunted to near extinction in the 1960s, but interestingly it is trade that is said to be linked to the revival of the Vicuña. A study by the International Trade Center in 2007 concluded that the decision to grant rights to communities to shear and sell Vicuña fibre increased their economic incentive to sustainably manage and protect the species. In an incredible turn of events, in a few short decades, the Vicuña population has risen from endangered levels to a conservation status of least concern, with a population of 350,000 mature individuals. The Vicuña is similar in appearance to the other wild South American camelid species, but can be differentiated by its smaller stature and a shorter, more compact face. The distribution of these two species does overlap, but is clearly distinguished at the far south of the continent. The Guanaco, as with other South American camelids, breeds once per year and has a shorter gestation period than camels, giving birth after 11.5 months. Young are precocial and are able to stand shortly after birth, a necessary trait to combat the area's predators, which include the culpeo and the cougar. These solitary felines are Patagonia's largest predator, weighing up to 260 pounds, and are the primary threat faced by young guanacos, accounting for up to 80% of juvenile mortality. Time to independence and sexual maturity is also shorter than the camel, with weaning complete in as little as 4 to 8 months. Guanaco fibre is also highly sought after, but is not considered to be as soft as the fleece of the Vicuña, and is therefore valued slightly less. The Guanaco population is almost 3 times that of their miniature cousins, with 1 million mature individuals present across South America, with the vast majority of this population being found at the southern end of their range, in Chile and Argentina. These herbivores are found most often in grassland ecosystems, but are said to occupy the most diverse range of habitats, including deserts, shrublands and forests. The taxonomy of these two wild species is debated, with some placing them in 2 separate genera and others in the same genus. Likewise, the taxonomy and lineage of the 2 South American domestic camelids is also debated. A 2007 study conducted by researchers from the University of Chile suggests that the alpaca is most closely related to the Vicuña, and the llama is most closely related to the guanaco, proposing reclassification for the alpaca to the same genus as the Vicuña. Consistent with the genetic similarities, there are several interesting comparisons in the physical appearance of the wild and domestic counterparts, and like the camelids of Afro-Eurasia, these animals have played a similarly important role in the development of civilization in this part of the world. The alpaca, being more genetically and visually similar to the vicuña, features a shorter, more compact face and a smaller stature than the llama, weighing a fraction more than its wild counterpart at no more than 140 pounds. Being the smaller and more fluffier of the two domestic species, the alpaca has traditionally been used for its fleece and also appears upon the list of the most valuable fibers alongside the vicuña and the guanaco. There are two breeds of alpaca, both of which have a unique type of fiber. Suri alpacas are the rarer of the two breeds and possess a long fleece which is more suited to woven products. Huacaya alpacas are much more common and produce a product that is comparable to sheep's wool, which is said to be better for knitted products. Individuals of the Huacaya breed make up around 85 to 90% of all alpacas, and as a result, Suri fiber is more highly valued. While alpacas are found throughout much of the world, their native range is not too dissimilar to the vicuña, being found on the west coast of Central South America, much like that of our final species of camelid. The llama is most genetically and visually similar to the guanaco, exhibiting a long face and larger stature, weighing up to 340 pounds, which is over twice the size of the alpaca. It is this size combined with their gentle temperament that makes the llama a highly popular pack animal, possessing the ability to carry up to 30% of its body weight. Llamas are used for this purpose not only in South America, but in many communities worldwide. Like camels and other camelids, llamas use spitting as a form of communication to express displeasure or aggression before more physical methods are employed. Despite this behavior, llamas are known to be social animals and natively live in herds across the Altiplano of Peru and Bolivia. Although their coat is less famous than that of the alpaca, llamas are used for this purpose and exhibit a wide range of colours, from black and white to many shades of brown. One of the most famous locations to see the llama is Machu Picchu, an ancient Incan citadel located high in the Peruvian Andes. Llamas were one of the most important animals to the Incas and were used long before the arrival of the Spanish. With the Spanish came the horses that now exist on the continent, including the baguales of South America and the mustangs of North America, both of which you can learn about in this video, exploring all 9 equid species and 9 beautiful wild horses. Thank you so much for watching.